As it turns out, travel across the ocean had not been as great as I'd hoped. Even though I'd managed to craft a decent boat, it wasn't enough to keep me entirely safe during the crossing. Though I didn't encounter any living dragons, there were vicious creatures of the sea who seemed to despise me at first sight. After a treacherous journey, I was tired and ready to find someplace safe to settle down. Spotting a smokestack just off the side of a river, I landed the boat and hopped out. However, something, or I suppose someone, was watching me as I unsuspectingly trudged up to an adorable house. As I went to knock on the door, a thunderous noise sounded behind me, and I spun, ready for a fight. To my surprise, it was a man with huge raven black wings, jet black hair, and soft blue eyes that sparkled with amusement as he waved a greeting. He immediately said, "It's about time. I was starting to get bored." Bewildered, I apologized for coming to his house unannounced and introduced myself as Evryn. A strange look passed over his face, but he only said, "Yes, so where have you been?" I told him of the perilous journey I'd been on, and he asked if I'd seen anything strange. I immediately thought of the strange creatures that I'd fought in the ocean. He seemed lost in thought for a moment, so I showed him the dragon materials I'd gathered as well. He seemed somewhat surprised by them, but showed no interest beyond that. Finally, I pulled out some gold ingots I'd found among the dragon's remains, to which he leaped and snatched the materials before rushing to some kind of covered building attached to what I assumed was his house. I rushed after him, and he told me to shoo away, that he was going to make a better weapon than the so-called dingy one that was at my hip. I stood for a moment, not sure what to do, but he was already busying himself in what looked like a forge. I asked who he was, and he told me his name was Mew, and he was a blacksmith. Then he shooed me away again, only to call me back and tell me there was an abandoned house up on the middle plateau of the mountain that towered next to his home. He said I was welcome to use it, and so sent me on my way, warning me that he'd found the previous owner dead inside and dispatched the monsters that had likely killed him. I had to admit the area was stunning, truly a far cry from the harsh mountain and ocean. After showing me a hidden pathway up the mountain, he headed back to his workshop. As I started up the mountain, I couldn't help but wonder at what kind of strange creature he was. Despite his confusing actions, he seemed to be very kind, and I noted that Mew was the first being I'd met in this world who I felt safe around. After a short hike, I came to what I could only describe as a slice of paradise. Elegant trees littered the land. Soft green grass and flowers bloomed beneath my feet. I took it all in, and was just about to head to the house when that thundering sound came from behind me again. Mew asked me what I was doing, and I explained that I had never seen such a beautiful place before. That same strange look passed over his face, and was gone so fast I had wondered if it really even happened. He sighed, shaking his head as he led the way to a small field and pens of animals. He explained that they were already there, left by the previous inhabitant of the gorgeous little house that sat at the pinnacle of the hill. Then he tossed me something, and I just barely caught an amazing flaming sword before it fell to the ground. He grinned and explained that it was a dragonbone sword, and was able to magically inflict fire onto its targets. With that, he took off, telling me not to run off and do anything stupid without telling me. I watched him fly off into the distance, marveling at the way he managed to mix insult and concern. With that, I decided to enter my new house. Although I'm accustomed to brutality, I wasn't exactly prepared to see the dismembered parts of monstrous beings lying across the floor. If Mew had truly accomplished that, well, I was grateful to be on his good side. Resolving to clean up later, I explored the rest of the house, discovering a small kitchen and an upstairs ladder. There laid the remains of the former owner of the house, along with many strange books. I gently lifted the book that lay next to them and dusted it off. To my surprise, I could read the words in it, though it made my head hurt quite a bit. I began to settle into the house, cleaning out spiderwebs and picking up any debris. Once it was cleaned up, a weight lifted from my shoulders. Somehow, I'd found a safe home and even a somewhat friendly neighbor. I stepped out my door and looked over the land below. A warm feeling spread through me that I was fairly sure was entirely new to me. Peace. Still, there was much to do, so with one last look at that beautiful view, I returned to my new home, resolved to learn about and discover so much more of this world.